Hi friends, welcome back to my kitchen. Welcome if you're new. I'm Cheryl, this is Table Full of Joy. And friends, we're back in the kitchen for another week of fun recipes. I'm gonna have 4 recipes this week. Friday night, we are not cooking dinner. We are having our Share the Love event for our youth group. It's our youth group fundraiser. Every year they do a Valentine's dinner. And so we're gonna be having that dinner on Friday night. I'll be bringing you guys along with me in a separate video to show you the desserts that I'm gonna make for the auction. But also I'm auctioning off a gift basket where I'm giving away a dinner for 2 that I'll come to someone's home and cook for them. This will be the 3rd year that I've gotten to do this. And I'm going to include some fun goodies in that basket along with the basically a gift certificate for that dinner. So that's going to be a separate video that you guys will see probably this weekend or probably later next week. We'll see how long it takes me to get that edited. But I've got 2 desserts that I'm going to make that you guys are going to love to see for Valentine's Day, as well as the fun little gifts that I'm going to do for that gift box. But tonight we're doing something super simple. We're kind of in a sandwich mode here recently, and I found a recipe for a garlic chicken sandwich, and this is basically like a grilled cheese sandwich. So I cooked up some chicken and shredded it so that it can go on my bread. I made some, so you're supposed to use garlic bread to make this. I don't typically buy garlic bread at the store. I usually make my own. So I still have some sourdough bread left over from our patty melts that we did and something else. So I just made some garlic butter, and I'm going to do my own garlic bread for these sandwiches. I also sliced up some mozzarella cheese, and I have a little bit of Parmesan cheese for these. It's just going to be super simple. I am going to mix a little bit of parm into my garlic butter, and that's going to really kind of help that bread brown a little bit. Not going to do a ton, but I do want a little bit of Parmesan cheese in with that butter to go on the outside of our bread. That's just going to make it extra delicious. So I'm going to mix that cheese in real quick to our butter, and then we're going to start buttering our bread. These sandwiches go together super quick. I do have a mixture of French fries and tater tots going in my oven. I'm just kind of cleaning out my freezer. I had a partial bag of French fries, steak fries, and a partial bag of tater tots, and so I said we're going to combine those and get rid of them, get them out of my freezer. So it's going to be perfect. So let's get these sandwiches made. Got my pan over here on the stove. We're going to cook these sandwiches. This dinner is going to be super quick. So I've got my garlic butter here. We're going to take a little bit of this garlic butter that we just put that Parmesan cheese in there. And we're just going to put a little of this on our bread. I'm going to go ahead and butter my bread, all 4 pieces. And then I'm just going to bring my chicken and my cheese over to the stove, and I will use, or I'll build my sandwiches right in my pan. I think that extra Parmesan cheese on this bread is going to make this bread nice and cheesy and kind of golden brown. I think that cheese is going to get good and toasty. You don't want to cook this on a super high heat because we are putting the cheese on the bread, so you don't want to burn it. So we're going to cook our sandwiches probably on a medium heat and see what that looks like. We want to make sure we get plenty on here. Looks like I made just enough of our garlic butter. If you don't want to make your own garlic butter and do this whole process like this, by all means, just buy some garlic bread at the store out of the freezer section. Probably just those, I forget the brand name. I think they're New York brand or something like that. It's the ones they have in the stores. But you can just buy those and use those for these sandwiches. So let's head over to our pan and let's get these sandwiches built. So this is the bread that I'm using. It's the Seattle brand sourdough. It's one of my favorite store-bought sourdough breads. So I'm going to take 1 piece of our bread. I'm going to put down 1 piece of our mozzarella cheese. I'm going to do a little bit of this Parmesan cheese. Just kind of put this right on top of it. Then we're going to do a thin layer of chicken, or not really a thin layer, but you know what I mean. We're going to do a good layer of chicken because this is a chicken sandwich after all, so we want it to have some good chicken flavor. So here is my chicken, and I just cooked this in some chicken broth with a little bit of my favorite Kinder's caramelized onion butter seasoning and a little bit of garlic powder just to give it a little bit of flavor. don't need a lot. And then I just used my Pampered Chef meat chopper and just used that to shred up the chicken. I think these are going to be delicious. Something completely different. We're doing some fun different sandwiches here recently. Our patty melts that we just did. If you missed that video, I'll leave a link in the description box for that one for you guys to go check out. But those were delicious. All right, we're going to do a little more of our, and I'm using the pizza blend or the Italian blend cheese. So we're going to do a little bit more of that on here. I want to get this cheese out of my pan so it doesn't burn. We're going to do our other piece of our mozzarella. Our other piece of bread. Just like that. And we're going to turn our oven. We're going to turn our burner on to a medium heat and just let these slowly start to brown up. Let our cheese get nice and crispy on the outside of our bread and our cheese inside get nice and gooey. And these are going to be ready. All right, friends, you can see those look amazing. I'm going to get these plated up. All right, friends, let's get this cut in half. I think this is going to be delicious. We've never had anything like this before. You can see the cheese. That's going to be delicious. I'm going to give my hubby some fries and some tater tots. We're just cleaning out our freezer a little bit. Getting rid of some stuff that's in there. These are going to be delicious. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. We have a really fun recipe coming out tomorrow. You guys will see it in this video, but we're doing it tomorrow, so you don't want to miss that. So make sure you're watching this video all the way to the end because there is going to be 4 incredible recipes in this video. So we're going to go eat this, friends, and we'll see you tomorrow for another one. All right, friends, it is Taco Tuesday. We are making a new recipe that I have not made before. It is a taco Frito pie. So we're gonna get started making this. I already cooked my taco meat. I figured you guys don't need to see me do that. You guys know how to cook taco meat. So but I am gonna add some refried beans. It does not call for that in the original recipe, but hubby and I both love refried beans. I may not put the entire packet in there, but I'm gonna put some in the meat back there. First, let's get started on our crust. I just have a pie pan. Yes, it's a Christmas pie pan, but I can't find my other one. I actually think, now that I think about it, I think that's the one I broke. So we're going to use a Christmas one. It's going to be fine. We are going to get our crescent roll dough out of our tube. And how we're going to put these together is we're going to go ahead and separate our crescent rolls into the 8 crescent roll pieces. And we're going to lay those out in our pie pan. And that's going to make our pie crust. So we're going to use each crescent roll piece I'm not going to pinch them together until I make sure that I have all of them in here. They didn't do a very good job cutting some of these, but that's okay. So if I have to move them around a little bit, I will. Whatever I need to do to get all 8 of these pieces in here. I'm going to turn off my meat because that is done. We just need to get our 8 pieces separated out. However we need to do this to get them, and then we'll just kind of pinch them together to make a solid pie crust. All right, so I'm gonna figure out how to put this in here so I can get it to fully cover. Whatever we need to do to get all 8 of these in here. If I need to trim some from around the edge, I will, just to make sure that our crust gets fully covered. So here's our last one. So I am gonna have to take a little bit. I think my pie pan is a little bit bigger than the one they used. I think they probably used a standard 9-inch. So I'm gonna do what I have to do to get this in here. I don't think I have another pie pan that I can use. I may have to look.
I exercise, I try to eat right, and I take balance of nature. I love balance of nature, and I would recommend it to anyone.
All right, so I changed pans because I think my pie pan was just a bit too big. So I went ahead and put all of my crescents in here. Got them all flattened out in here. Just making sure this is a good, even pie crust. I'm gonna go ahead and bake this for about 10 minutes because I want to have this crust partially done before I put my meat mixture in here. Go through and just make sure that all of your crescent rolls are together, that you don't have any open seams. If you can find the crescent roll sheets, I would recommend doing that instead of these, but these are going to be fine. We're going to put this in the oven for about 10 minutes and we'll come back and finish it up. All right, so here's our crust. I went in and pulled it out. It's baked a little bit. I didn't want it all the way baked. I'm gonna set it aside for just a minute. Pull over my taco meat. We're gonna go ahead and add our refried beans to this and let this get mixed up. And then we're gonna fill our pie shell. Now, the recipe calls for a full pound of taco meat. It probably won't take this full pound because I'm adding refried beans to it. But if you're not gonna add the refried beans to it, then it will take a full pound of taco meat. But like I said, we like refried beans. I wanna add that extra little bit of flavor in there. So if it doesn't take it all, not a problem. I'll just put the leftover in a container and we'll have it for a quick lunch or something later. Not super worried about it. All right, so I'm gonna just give this a quick little toss. I think that's mixed up enough. Let's go ahead and get our crust. So we're gonna go ahead and put our meat and refried beans in here. Get this all leveled off in our crust. We're gonna pile on some cheese, as well as, before we serve this, we're gonna put on some shredded lettuce, some diced tomato, some crushed up Fritos. That's where the Frito pie comes in. I was just showing my husband that I grabbed the lightly salted Fritos because our taco meat has taco seasoning. That is pretty heavily salted. You've got cheese, you got all these things that have all this salt, and I don't think we need any more, so I went with the lightly salted ones. But if you're making this for your family, by all means do what you want. All right, I have a little bit of pepper jack cheese, a little bit of cheddar cheese. I'm just gonna do a mix on top of this. I'm gonna save a bowl and I'm just gonna grate this right on top of our Frito pie. Get all this cheese on here, and then this is gonna go back in the oven, and it's going to cook for probably another 10 or 15 minutes until our cheese is melted, our meat is heated all the way through, and then we will serve this up. And because I'm not serving the entire thing, it's just my husband and I tonight for dinner, I am going to garnish each individual piece with the lettuce, the tomato, the chips, the sour cream, all that stuff, because I don't want that sitting on here and getting all gross. So we're just gonna garnish each piece. That way we can save this and have this. I'm probably gonna send the leftovers in hubby's lunch this week. So we'll get that spread out. Now let's do a little bit of cheddar. It's gonna go back in the oven for about 10 or 15 minutes till our cheese is melted and our filling is hot all the way through. All right, friends, here is our taco pie out of the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and cut a couple of pieces. Like I told you, I am going to not put all the toppings on every single piece or on the top of this whole thing, because I need to keep the lettuce and stuff fresh. So when I use this for hubby's lunch this week, stuff like that, that it's not all yucky. So get this cut, and we're gonna get a couple pieces put on plates. All right, let's see how easy this comes out. Make sure I have the crust cut all the way through. Ours is definitely a lot heavier than the original recipe, just because, like I said, we put the refried beans in it, but that is what it looks like, friends. So we're gonna put some crushed up Fritos on top. I'm gonna crush these right on top of our pie. This looks delicious. We're gonna put a little bit of lettuce on here, a little bit of tomato. My husband loves onion, so we're gonna do some onion on top of his. Spoonful of guacamole. And last but not least, a little bit of sour cream. All right, friends, there is our Frito pie. It looks delicious. We're gonna go enjoy this, and we'll see you tomorrow for another delicious recipe. All right, friends, it's Wednesday. We are back in the kitchen for 2 more fun recipes. This is gonna be the end of the video for this week. I have 2 collaborations coming out that you will see before you see this video. One collaboration is coming out this Friday, which is our Super Bowl snacks collaboration with my sweet friend Mama Friendly, and so you'll look for that one. Also on Monday, there is a chili cook-off collaboration. So I've got 2 collaborations coming out on both of the next 2 days that I upload. So you'll be seeing this video after those things. So if you haven't seen those, I will leave a link in the description box for both of those collaborations for this video, so you guys can go check all those out. So friends, we are gonna get in the kitchen. We've got a fun new recipe for dinner tonight. I'm gonna make something fun and take that with me to church so my husband can eat that before he goes to his Bible study class. And then of course, as you know, I'm teaching kids class tonight. And so I'm making a sweet treat to bring for the kids for their snack tonight. We're making some sugar cookie bars. That's kind of a hard one for me to say for some reason. So we're gonna do a delicious bar cookie again. They seem to really like those. This one's pretty new. And we're gonna get those done so that we can get all of this done and get out the door and get to church on time. So let's get over to the mixer and let's get these cookies made. All right, so we're gonna get started on our cookie dough. So we need 3/4 of a cup of butter. Get my paddle attachment on here. We need 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1/3 of a cup of powdered sugar, one egg, and some vanilla. It calls for almond extract, but I'm not going to use almond extract in this. I'm just going to use extra vanilla, and I think it's going to be fine. So we're going to get this all mixed up. All right, now we need to put in our 2½ cups of flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. These would be super fun to do for Valentine's Day coming up. These would be a great thing if you've got kids and you want to bring a fun little treat to their classmates. These would be super fun. You can decorate these any way you want to. We're just gonna pat this dough into our baking pan. I'm using a foil pan because, as you guys know, I bring these things to church with me. And I don't wanna have to worry about bringing my pan home or leaving my pan at church or whatever. So make sure you get all of it scooped down off the edge of the bowl. And this is just gonna get pressed into our baking pan. It's gonna bake at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Our baking pan, we're just gonna pour all of our dough in here, and I'm just gonna use my hands to really compact it down. So make sure we get all this dough out. Our oven is hot now, ready for our cookie bars. And get this all spread out, and then we'll push it all down. And I think I'm going to use the back of my 1 cup measure to really get this compacted down in here. These are super easy to make, and like I said, they would make a great treat for you to bring to your kids' classmates for Valentine's Day. These would be great for Easter. You could decorate these with all kinds of fun Easter candy if you wanted to. There's just any number of ways that you could decorate these and make these perfect for any holiday. 4th of July, Christmas. We just had Christmas, but you know what I mean. So any holiday, these would be great. All right, so we have them all pushed down in here. We're gonna put these in our 350 oven. They're gonna bake for about 20 to 25 minutes. All right, friends, I just took our cookie bars and set them outside. It's cold here. We're in the 30s today. So I set them outside so they would cool pretty quick so I get the frosting made for them. I started our Mongolian beef, which is what I'm making tonight with some broccoli on the side. And we're making this a less expensive way. Mongolian beef is delicious, but can be super expensive. So if you're on a budget, you're feeding a large family, but you still want that delicious flavor of Mongolian food, make it with ground beef. Super easy, super inexpensive, a lot cheaper than using steak or something like that. So I'm cooking some ground beef over here. I have some water boiling back there for some linguine noodles, and this is gonna go together super, super fast. My ground beef, I've got it pretty much chopped up about the way that I want it. So I think it's gonna be perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and make our sauce that goes for our Mongolian beef. I have a little bit of, I'm not using regular beef broth because I use Better Than Bouillon. So I put a little bit of Better Than Bouillon in there, as well as some water. I'm gonna put in a tablespoon of cornstarch. gonna thicken up our sauce and make it nice and thick and rich and delicious. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to this. I need 2 tablespoons. I don't have any fresh garlic in my house right now, so I'm using this garlic powder, which it's gonna be fine. It's not gonna hurt anything. We're gonna do some soy sauce. We want about 1/4 cup of soy. And then what gives this the really rich, thick flavor is hoisin sauce. I love cooking with hoisin sauce when I'm making Asian food. Really adds a good richness and depth of flavor to it. If I can get it open. All right, here's our soy, our hoisin sauce, our cornstarch, our beef broth, our garlic. I'm not going to add any salt to this because all of those things have quite a bit of salt in them. And I really don't want to have this a super salty. The one thing I need to put in here I forgot to do is some brown sugar, but it's fine. I'm going to put it in right now. 1/3 cup of brown sugar. Stir. We're gonna let this simmer while our water for our noodles comes up to a boil. I'm telling you friends, this is gonna be absolutely delicious. All right, our pasta is done. We're gonna add this to our meat mixture that we have here, our Mongolian beef. This is gonna be delicious. I've got a little bit of fresh green onions to go on this. I'm gonna steam a little bit of broccoli for my husband because he likes to have broccoli with this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna get this tossed together, get this pasta in here, and I'll see if I need to add the rest. This smells incredible already, friends. It smells so good. All I have left to do before I head off to church is frost those cookie bars real quick, steam up some broccoli to go with my husband's Mongolian beef, and I'm out the door. All right, so here's our cookie bars. I'm gonna go ahead and get my frosting put on top. Grab my offset spatula so I can use that to spread out this frosting. I'm not going for a super thick layer because I don't like to really sugar the kids up. They get their snack at the end of the evening, and it's pretty late for them to have a really sugary snack. So we're just gonna go thin layer on this frosting. Got my offset spatula. We're just gonna spread out our icing, frosting, icing, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you go all the way to the edge. Like I said, this is not a real thick layer of frosting because I don't want to get it too sugary for the kids late at night. As much as they would love it, I don't think the parents would. And I wasn't sure what kind of sprinkles I was going to put on this, so I went rummaging through my baking cupboard. And we've had some really cold weather here recently. This week we're only in the 30s. So I'm gonna do some really cute snowflake sprinkles on top. I think those will be super cute. I have these white and silver snowflakes. Let's see. I think that's going to be it. Spread those out just a little bit. And there we go. There is our delicious sugar cookie bars. I'm going to finish packing up hubby's dinner and we're going to be off to church. Friends, here is hubby's Mongolian beef and broccoli. We're going to pack this up, pack up our cookie bars, and we're off to church. There are so many channels participating in this collaboration. You are going to get all of the food that you need for this weekend's big game. You don't want to miss it. Don't want to miss any of these recipes. I'm excited to share 3 recipes with you guys today that are extra special in our house for any big game, any party. They're good for all year round. So we're going to get started on all 3 of these. They're super easy, really quick to make, and we're going to get things started. I've got my ground beef cooking because we're going to make some bacon cheeseburger cups. We're also going to make some jalapeno popper smashed potatoes, and we're going to make a hot corn and jalapeno dip. So everything is super easy, minimal ingredients. Let's get this stuff done.